Okay, good day and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Ed and this channel is all about Minneapolis Moline. Today we're going to be working on some shrow prep. So I got about 2 weeks left before Almelund, and realistically I only have one because next week I go to scout camp with my kids. So this is pretty much the only week I have to tie up all my loose ends and make sure that I'm ready to go. So the couple things that I need to get done today, I'm doing some cosmetic work with Smokey here. We're gonna take these lights out and we're gonna put those lights on. I've got some emblems, so I'm gonna get the emblems replaced on the front cross and the sides here. And then that'll pretty much tie that up. It's just something that I've wanted to get done for a while, and I want to do it before the show for sure. Once that's complete, I got to move on to the J670 mower. I want to get the hood put back on. It was my intent to get this thing painted this year, but that might not happen until this fall. Definitely not before the show. So I've got to do some changing to these hydraulic hoses so that I can put the hood back on, have quick connects here, have a short stub here, and then the last thing I have to figure out is what I want to do about the distance from here to the PTO. If I'm just going to leave it disconnected for the show, or if I'm going to try to put another longer shaft in there, because this has got to sit straight up and down for that hood to fit decently right now, because the hood doesn't slide in and out. So that's project number 2, and then there's a couple other projects beyond that. I bought some more hydraulic fluid for the big mow, because I think we're still short, even though that was 5 gallons that I put in there. I'm going to be curious to see how much this thing actually takes. We got to get propane in the U, so we'll get that started and filling today, and then everything needs a wash, and then I've got to work on the BF Avery and find out why I can't get that one to start. I don't seem to have spark, and I'm not sure why, and I haven't put any time into it because I'm busy with everything else. So that's the plan for today. Before I leave for camp, I'm hoping to have everything running so that when I'm ready to start hauling, we're just going to load up and go. So I'm going to get after the grill and the lights, the front emblem here. So they put this big washer in, and it looks like it was to hold the grill inside. So I'm going to take that off, and then I'm sure those grill pieces will be loose, so I'm going to have to troubleshoot that so that they will sit in there correctly. I wish I had time to work on the gauges too. I would put a new gauge panel in it, but I'm not going to have that kind of time today. So, all right, I will bring you back when I get some of this done. All right, so the after. There's our emblem. There's our new lights and our front emblem. And you can just see the other emblem there. Looks a little more complete now. It's got all the emblems, and I like that front light look way better. Way better. I don't know what it is, but I just don't like them inside the grill like that. Plus it gives me an excuse to use these lights. I've had them for a while. All right, we're gonna move on to the next project. Okay, got the mower all buttoned up. I put new lines, well, newer lines, they're not brand new. Got them run up over the top of the cover. I've got quick connects at the end of the cover with a nice bracket that holds everything so that they won't fall off while I'm making turns. And this is a Minneapolis. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's Minneapolis Moline, but it was made in Minneapolis, so close enough. And then I did get some new hose to make a couple stub hoses, so that looks all nice and tidy. And then I did decide that for now I'm just going to bungee the PTO up and not even worry about it. I'd much rather have the cover on there and bring it to the show that way than have to deal with trying to change that shaft out right now. So that project is done. Now we have to move on to the next one. Okay, so 5 gallons is what I put in this tank the other day, and I've got a little stick that I am using to measure, and it looks like maybe about an inch. So after 5 gallons, there's about an inch in the bottom of that tank. So everything went into the cylinders and into the lines, and so now we're still not even close to having a full tank here. So I'm going to put another 2 gallons in. That'll bring us up to 7, and then I want to see if this thing runs any faster. So after the 2 gallons, I think we're sitting about right there in that tank now, so a quarter. So my guess is 10 to 12 gallons is what it's going to take to fill it. All right, she seems to be pushing hydraulic fluid through a lot faster now. Today would be a good day to take a walk through the tractors. We just got done cleaning them, getting them ready for Almelund. We got about 2 weeks left before that show, so I'm a little bit ahead of the curve, which for me is different. I really like it. Takes a lot of the stress off. Everything's clean, everything's running, everything's ready to go. It's just a matter of getting it on a trailer and getting it over there. I won't be going through them much at Almelund. I'll be too busy looking at everybody else's tractors, so I figured this would be a good time to just quickly walk through and give a little history on each one. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll start right up here with the BF Avery. So this is a BF Avery Model A. It's a 1948. This was built by the Benjamin Franklin Avery and Sons Company before it was acquired by Minneapolis Moline. So in 1960, Moline acquired BF Avery, and then after that point they started making everything Prairie Gold. So seeing as this was prior to that, this would have been more of a cherry red, is what BF Avery was using. But when I restored it, I decided that I was going to use the Moline Red and then the Moline Prairie Gold, because I knew that my collection was going to be primarily Molines as I went on, and I kind of wanted this to match as closely as I could. So broke a couple of rules there. That's okay. I bought this in the fall of 2015, restored it the spring and summer of 2016. You can see that the paint is starting to fade a little bit, so are the stickers. It's expected. It's got the 4-cylinder Hercules engine in it. It's got 3 forward gears and 1 reverse, and it's electric start. And it's a very cool little tractor. The idea was to have something that my wife could run in the parades, and that's basically what it's done. Up next is my 1949 Minneapolis Moline RTE.
I bought this in 2017, restored it in 2018, and then rebuilt the engine the last 2 years because one of the jugs ended up cracking out. So I found it off of Craigslist. It was something that I really liked. I liked the look of that wide front end on this, and it's been one of my favorite tractors to drive. The operator platform is really comfortable, and it's just fun to tool around on. And I think it's really sharp looking, with the red pinstripes on the louvers, that nice red grill on the front. It came out really nice when I did it. So that's that one. And then we'll move on to the 1952 Minneapolis Moline ZAU. So I purchased this in the fall of 2016 with my dad. It was about 10 miles away, so it was really close. I bought the tractor, and Dad bought the log splitter that came with it. This got restored the same time as the RTE. This one I have not touched the engine on. All I did was strip it down and repaint it basically. And then in 2019 I found this 4-row cultivator off of Craigslist. It was about 50 miles east of Des Moines, Iowa, so it was a little bit of a drive to go get it, but I went and got it, and then I put this on last fall. Cleaned it up, painted it up. I built up the Automatic lift. I've got a playlist that goes through all of that, and mounted it on the tractor. So just a really neat display piece, I think. Then we move on to the 335. Of course, this one's been all over my channel. I've got a full playlist of the teardown and rebuild of this one. So I purchased it in 2018, excuse me, 2018 at the Now Then show when it was featuring Moline. One of the gentlemen that we talked to there had it, and again, the idea was something a little bit smaller for my wife to be able to drive in the parades, plus it matched my 445. So this has got the 165 in it, so it's a little bit smaller than the 445. Horsepower wise, it's only 40 horse, but very neat little tractor. Again, another one that's just fun to drive around on. And I like the down facing exhaust. Makes that hood really clean, and you don't ever have to worry about water getting in through the exhaust. And then we've got my 1957 445. This one was my father's. It was purchased with my grandfather. They bought it out of St. Cloud, Minnesota from a dealer. They used it to take care of the driveway, keep it open in the winter, and run a back blade on it in the summer. So backing up just briefly, the 335, it was built in 1957, and it was the 16th off the assembly line in 1957. So very early January, maybe the beginning of February, when this was in the factory. This was number 603 off the assembly line in 57. So this would have been really late 57, October, November, December, somewhere in there. So more than likely these two were not in the plant at Hopkins together. But moving on to Old Smoky, the other 1957 445, this one was the 26th off the assembly line in 1957. So there is a very good chance that this 445 and that 335 were at the Hopkins plant at the same time, probably sitting in the yard waiting to be shipped. Very, very good chance that they sat on the same piece of property at another point in time. So just a fun little factoid. Before we get into Old Smoky, we'll take a look at the J670 mower. This my dad picked up at an auction in 2019. Didn't even know he was going. He just went and then told me I had to go pick something up for him. And it turned out to be this mower, which is pretty cool. Again, my hope was to have this completely restored for Almelund this year, but it didn't happen. I did get that that cylinder for it so that we can pick it up and be able to move it around. Redid all the hydraulic lines on it, so this is going to trail behind in the parade at Almelund, which will be kind of neat. It's just fun to have some of these little implements. So then Old Smoky, this one I acquired this year from a friend of ours. They decided they wanted to part with it, and they gave me a call because they knew that I'm big into Moleens. So with it being a 445, I couldn't say no. Brought it home and have been using it ever since. It needs a lot of work. The plan is that it's going to get restored. It has a lull loader on it. Everything that I can tell, these lull loaders were made for R's and for U's. So this is the smaller of the two that I've seen. This is 2,500 pound capacity. The other one that I've seen is a 5,000 pound capacity. So there's a considerable size difference, but yeah, every archive photo that I found in the Minneapolis historical photos, it's been on an R, and you can kind of tell from the framework that it doesn't belong on this tractor. They definitely had to do some fabrication to make it fit. This started life as a utility, so it had that front end on it. And you can tell if we go around to the other side, you can see where there is no paint where that bracket would have been that holds that arm. So at one point in time, this had those arms and that front end. This was changed over when they added the bucket to this utility or industrial style front end. However, it's still not the right industrial style front end for this tractor. I'm not sure what it's off of. Again, it could have been like an R. You know, maybe they had an R that went to the junkyard, and then this was what incorporated everything else. But if you look at the big mow that has the industrial front end, the shape of that front axle is different, and that's what would have been on here if it was a true industrial. So we got that working against us, and then everywhere that could leak is leaking. Every seal on the transmission is leaking. The power steering is leaking. Everything is leaking. So this very much so needs a full tear down and a rebuild, which I plan on making happen. I am going to convert it back to a 3-point and get that weird blade set up off the back, and go back to powering it with a different pump. I did get the headlights and the badging changed out, and I think this looks way better. I really hate that with the lights on the inside of the cross. So I think now the two of them match a little closer. You know, you can definitely tell they're the same thing. That bucket is way too small. I don't know. Again, it was meant for a smaller tractor, but it does have a serial plate on it, so more than likely when I restore this thing, I'm gonna try to find a proper industrial front end for it. I can't set it back to the utility because of this frame, I would have to do some major alteration to this frame of this loader in order to make that utility front end fit again. So I think my best bet is going to be to try to find the proper industrial front end. If I can't do that, then I'll have to make this work. But the turning radius is awful, and it just doesn't look right. So just a lot of things that I need to figure out with this. But it is probably going to be the next one that I go after. So that's the story with that one. And then of course the big mow, I just acquired that this last couple of weeks. This one, most everything is here for it. I need a seat bracket. I have the proper seat, I just don't have the seat bracket. I need another 12,000 pound weight. I need some inner wheel weights. I already have a lead on a better looking hood. I need some new sheet panels. It's going to have the engine tore down and rebuilt, but that's fine. I don't see a ton of leakage on it. And again, as we talked about in the last couple of videos, this is a true 1960. So it's the first year that they were built. It's 61 of 160 that were built with this style paneling. So there aren't that many of them out there. It's got the Ottawa loader on it. I've been trying to kind of get a feel for just how many Ottawa loaders there are out there. I've seen a couple, and I know that they were built for more than just Moline. They were also getting put on Farmalls and Fords. And I've been looking around. I found a photo of an Ottawa loader on a Farmall in a shop manual that is on eBay right now. But other than that, I can't find any Google images or anything of an Ottawa loader, you know, restored on a tractor other than that other big mow that I put on the channel before. So I did, again, going back to the Minnesota Historical Society, I did find some pictures of a 5-star that have the Ottawa loader on it and the 24,000 pound 12,000 pound dual weights on the back. So they potentially were putting them on 5-stars before the big mows came around. So there again, that makes me want to find another Ottawa loader and potentially find myself a 5-star, because that would be a very cool setup. But they're not easy to find. So that is that. And then rounding out the collection right now is William's UTU, which technically still is mine. He hasn't finished paying for it yet, but like a good 16-year-old kid, he's got himself a job and he's working and he's paying a little bit when he can pay it, and that is all right. That is definitely teaching him a sense of what it's going to be like in life. So when he gets this paid off, it'll no longer be mine, it'll be his, and that's fine with me, because I would like a U in the collection, but this isn't the one. I think the more we've talked about it, the more we're both in favor of changing it back over to gas. It started life out as gas. It was converted to LP. We don't have the data tag for it. We did find a data tag for a UTU that I believe was a 1963. So more than likely we're going to use that number and pin that back on the tractor when he gets to the point that he's ready to restore it. But yeah, right now we're not real certain the vintage of it. Anywhere between a 1950 and 1953 is what we've been gathering from folks online. Being able to actually fill it with LP has proven to be a challenge, as we don't have a tank big enough to put a decent amount in it. And it's just really becoming a burden already. So we're both in favor of, I think we're going to move it back to a gas unit. You can see we've already found a tank for it. I'll have to get a carburetor and we'll get this thing changed back over. It'll be much easier for him to keep up on, and yeah. So that's it. That is the Moline collection that's going to be going to Almelund this year. I've also got a case with my little die casts. We'll have a couple canopies set up. Yeah, it should be a really good display. Should get plenty of attention and do what these things were purchased to do. Get out in front of people and show them what these things used to look like in their glory day. Yeah, I'm stoked. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be 3 days of doing nothing but talking to like-minded people, and who knows, maybe even getting a lead on another one. I definitely have my hands full with projects in the future here, and the channel will be full of it. So if you enjoy what you've seen up to this point, there's going to be plenty of content. I'm working really hard on trying to get the shop set up so that I can continue on in the cold months this year, and actually keep the restoration processes going through the winter, which I think would be beneficial for the channel, and it'll be beneficial for me. I hate slowing down in the winter and kind of going into hibernation mode, but hopefully this year that won't be an issue. We can keep rolling and keep growing, and yeah, that's basically what I had on my mind for today. So I think that's where we're going to leave it. The next video you see will be the prep and load and haul to Almelund, and that's going to be a video in and of itself, because Will and I were talking about it, and it's going to be at least 5 trips to get everything out there. So that'll be a decent video, and then we'll have 1 or 2 from Almelund, and then it'll be over. So with that, I thank everybody that's watched to this point. I thank all the new subscribers and all the old subscribers, and I encourage you to continue clicking that subscribe button and helping me grow this channel, and keeping Minneapolis Moline alive. With that, take your foot off the clutch. Thanks, everybody.